lot of viewers, and yeah, I've been sharing on this topic for many years now, literally years. At first it was more philosophical, like Neo-advaita is not traditional non-duality. And then, my journey of recovery from Neo-advaita, and then finally I just realized, that Neo-advaita is just a form of spiritual bypass, a particularly tricky form. And once I realized that, it came to me that, I was going to need to come back to life. Meaning I was going to, meaning come back to living. It's not like I physically died, but really embrace the human journey. Like having feelings, having goals, doing relationships, having a personality, taking care of my personality, not being a personality, being a person. And boy, when I realized that, I was depressed and pissed, and that was the least thing I wanted to do. And it's been a journey. I've been very resistant to it. I still am, though a lot less. But yeah, pretty big breakthrough recently. As I shared before, I've started volunteer work. Actually, I've started to do some regular work too. I teach dance. And I've really switched my spiritual practices away from things that are dissociative. Um, Really, and I've been doing a lot of bhakti yoga lately, which is, relational, having a relational approach to the spiritual path and to higher power. And, it's so sweet. Bhakti is so fulfilling. But so I don't want to be like, oh, I'm all the way through and you know, I've made it out. I've completely recovered from spiritual bypass. But in the last month, and then especially in the last couple of weeks, I've definitely made some major progress. And it's not like I'm all the way out, but I can look back and I can just go, oh my God, what a maze of confusion. And so much of the confusion is, it was philosophical, thanks to Neo-advaita. And then once I made it through that, then there was just so much resistance to being a human being. And that's its own web of confusion with addictive behaviors. Not, and drugs and alcohol aren't the only addiction. There's lots of other ways to numb out that can become addictive. So addictive behaviors and, not wanting to pursue goals, wanting to pursue goals, not wanting to pursue goals, being ambivalent, not even knowing who I am or what I liked. Like it's such a journey, and now it is a journey. It was just a crazy journey, and now it's starting to become more of a journey of discovery of like, who am I? And I'm not talking about who am I from a Neo-advaita or a non-duality point of view, but like, what do I like? It's interesting. About a month ago, I'm like, wow, I really like chai. In fact, I think I made a video. I made a video from a chai shop. I was like, I like chai. Just this process of rediscovering, what do I like? Like, who am I? And let's just throw away the Neo-advaita or even the traditional non-dual question, who am I? It's like, who am I? Like, as a human being, like, what do I like? What am I passionate about? What am I here to do? And I'm not I don't want to throw out like, who am I on a more spiritual level, but without a clear sense of who I am as a person, then the spiritual inquiry into who I am is made me a mess. Like, what's my true nature? Well, without clarity about my nature as a human being, that inquiry drove me nutso, and I'm not the only one. And, as I've shared, I've connected with multiple traditional non-duality teachers, and they each in their own way have pointed out that you need to have a balanced personality before the practice of self-inquiry, before even approaching actual non-duality, there has to be like a balanced, you got to be a balanced person. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm not doing it just so that I can then down the road go practice traditional non-duality. And it feels good. And it feels good to be a balanced, responsible, mature human being. Well, it's not like I am that. It's more like I'm becoming that. I'm starting to live that some more. And wow, I'm just noticing this amazing spider web and reconnecting with life. So that's what's going on. Let's see. I've got some live viewers. If anyone has any questions or comments, please put them in there. Yeah, I definitely, a breakthrough has happened. A big part of it recently was just noticing how happy I felt at the end of my volunteer work shifts. I'm going to this place that basically their whole mission is to reduce landfill by getting people to reuse things. So I've been going in there and like cleaning old furniture that they basically saved from the landfill, and there we go. This simple act of like doing something for someone else for a good righteous project and not expecting return. I mean, that's part of what karma yoga is about. I mean, just a small part. It's really a bigger subject than that. But that's really what seva is about, selfless service. And it's so rewarding. Like I literally leave like feeling like kind of high, a little elevated, but in like a good human sense. And of course, I pick things that I care about, like I care about recycling and reusing, and I enjoy being physically active. And in fact, I told the places, like, I can't just sit around, like I gotta do something. And I actually enjoy cleaning other people's stuff. I kind of resistant to cleaning my own things. But so that was one of the major breakthroughs. And the other is working with a sex and intimacy coach. And not so much working on sexual issues, but more like relational issues, like the trauma, some of my early childhood trauma, and really talking it through and forging a safe relationship with this person. I'm beginning to be able to address some of those traumas that I was trying to run away from. I think most people who dive deep into Neo-advaita or spiritual bypass, I think most people are just trying to run away from just very intense trauma. And I've talked to many people who've said, who've made it out, and they're like, I was just trying to run from trauma. And the thing is Neo-advaita or spiritual bypass will there's so many types of spiritual bypass will promise you that, hey, this will heal trauma, or this will heal anything, or this will take care of all your problems. And it may help with some. Like, I'm not saying that spiritual modalities can't heal certain things. I've experienced healing on the spiritual path, but the type of approach that Neo-Advaita offers is more like a trancing out, like a dissociating. That doesn't heal anything. Like, it's good to be able to take a break, right, from our problems, but that's not a full-on solution. So those were a few of my thoughts. I think that's everything I have for today, unless anyone has any questions or feedback. Do. All right, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for dropping by, and I wish you a good day of healing from Neo-Advaita and spiritual bypass.